The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom generated over $1.5 billion in revenue within its first year of release. Let that sink in. A single-player, story-driven game with no microtransactions, no battle pass, no live service elements, and no downloadable content sold over 20 million copies at $70 each and became one of the highest-grossing games in Nintendo's history. In an industry increasingly dominated by free-to-play models, loot boxes, and games as a service, Tears of the Kingdom proved that a complete, premium-priced single-player experience can still dominate the market. But how? How did a game that reuses Breath of the Wild's map, launches exclusively on underpowered hardware, and costs more than any previous Zelda game become such a massive commercial success? Today we're dissecting the business strategy, marketing genius, and perfect storm of factors that turned Tears of the Kingdom into a billion-dollar phenomenon. This isn't just about a good game selling well, this is about understanding what created one of gaming's most successful launches ever. Let's break it down. The foundation, Breath of the Wild's legacy. You can't understand TOTK's success without understanding what came before it. Breath of the Wild wasn't just successful, it was transformative. It sold over 31 million copies, won countless Game of the Year awards, and is frequently cited as one of the greatest games ever made. It single-handedly sold Nintendo Switch consoles to people who bought the system specifically to play that one game. BOTW created a massive, hungry audience that finished the game and immediately wanted more. They wanted to return to Hyrule, they wanted another epic adventure, and they were willing to pay premium prices for it. Nintendo knew this. They knew they had millions of players who would buy a sequel sight unseen based purely on their love of the original. This installed base of passionate fans is worth billions in marketing value. Every BOTW player is a potential TOTK customer, and with 31 million BOTW copies sold, that's 31 million potential day one buyers. Nintendo didn't need to convince people that Zelda games are good, they just needed to promise more of what players already loved. But here's the brilliant part. Nintendo also created 6 years of anticipation. TOTK was announced in 2019 with a brief, cryptic teaser showing Ganondorf's corpse beneath Hyrule Castle. Then, silence. For years, Nintendo released minimal information, showing brief gameplay snippets, but keeping core mechanics and story details secret. This built anticipation to a fever pitch. By 2023, BOTW fans were desperate for a sequel. 6 years of waiting, theorizing, and anticipating created pent-up demand that guaranteed explosive sales at launch. Nintendo wasn't just selling a game, they were selling the resolution to 6 years of anticipation. That kind of built-in excitement is impossible to manufacture artificially. The price increase strategy. Tears of the Kingdom launched at $70, making it Nintendo's first major first-party title to adopt the new industry-standard pricing. This was controversial, with some fans upset about paying more for what appeared to be BOTW DLC. But from a business perspective, it was genius. Here's the math. If TOTK had launched at the traditional $60 price point and sold 20 million copies, that's $1.2 billion in revenue. At $70, those same 20 million copies generate $1.4 billion. The $10 price increase adds $200 million in revenue from the same sales volume. That's a 16.7% revenue increase with no additional marketing or development costs. But did the higher price hurt sales? Apparently not. TOTK sold over 10 million copies in its first 3 days, shattering records despite the price increase. This proves something crucial. For highly anticipated, premium titles from trusted brands, customers will pay more. Price resistance exists, but it's overwhelmed by desire for the product when demand is high enough. Nintendo correctly calculated that Zelda fans would pay $70 for TOTK. The brand loyalty, 6 years of anticipation, and BOTW's legacy made the audience relatively price insensitive. Would some people wait for sales? Sure, but millions bought immediately at full price, validating Nintendo's pricing strategy. The $70 price point also positions TOTK as a premium product. Higher prices signal quality and value. This costs more because it's worth more. Psychological pricing works. A $70 game feels more important and substantial than a $60 game, even if the content is identical. Nintendo leveraged pricing psychology to enhance perceived value. Marketing without spoiling. Nintendo's marketing campaign for TOTK was masterful in what it revealed and what it concealed. Every trailer showed gameplay mechanics, Ultra Hand, Fuse, Ascend, Recall, but avoided story spoilers. Players saw the tools they'd have without knowing what challenges they'd face. This generated hype without ruining surprises. The strategy was show mechanics, hide narrative. This works because mechanics drive purchase decisions while narrative drives experience quality. You buy TOTK because building machines looks fun. You love TOTK because the story and exploration deliver emotional satisfaction. Nintendo showed enough to generate sales without spoiling what makes the game special. Compare this to many AAA games that show too much in marketing, spoiling story beats and major reveals that should have been experienced in-game. Players arrive at launch having already seen the best moments in trailers. TOTK avoided this trap completely. Launch day players discovered the Sky Islands, the depths, Zelda's transformation, and major story twists completely unspoiled. This created immense word-of-mouth marketing post-launch. Players discovering these secrets told their friends, "You won't believe what I just found." That organic excitement drove additional sales as people didn't want to miss out on the discoveries everyone was discussing. Spoiler-free marketing turned players into enthusiastic ambassadors who recruited more customers. Nintendo also leveraged influencers and content creators brilliantly. Early review copies went to major YouTubers and streamers who created hype through gameplay footage and reviews timed for maximum impact. Millions of people watched TOTK content before launch, further building anticipation. This essentially free marketing through content creators reached audiences traditional advertising couldn't. The gameplay innovation narrative. Whether or not Ultra Hand and Fuse are truly revolutionary, Nintendo successfully marketed them as game-changing innovations. The narrative became, TOTK isn't just more BOTW, it's BOTW with unlimited creative freedom. This messaging transformed potential criticism about reused maps into excitement about new possibilities. The marketing focused relentlessly on player creativity. Build anything. Solve puzzles your way. Create machines limited only by imagination. This positioned TOTK as offering fundamentally different experiences despite familiar settings. Players weren't buying a retread, they were buying creative freedom in a world they loved. Gameplay trailers showed increasingly elaborate creations. Flying machines, death robots, elaborate puzzle solutions. Each reveal generated "I have to try that" reactions. The community began theorizing about possible builds before the game launched, creating free viral marketing as people shared their ideas and plans. This innovation narrative justified the $70 price point and the 6-year development cycle. If TOTK were just more BOTW content, it would feel overpriced and late. But BOTW plus revolutionary building mechanics that change everything feels worth $70 and worth the wait. Perception matters more than reality in marketing, and Nintendo controlled the perception masterfully. The Nintendo Switch install base. TOTK launched to an install base of over 125 million Nintendo Switch consoles worldwide. That's 125 million potential customers who already own the hardware to play the game. No other gaming platform in history had that many active users when a Zelda game launched. Compare this to previous Zelda releases. Ocarina of Time launched to an N64 install base of about 20 million. Twilight Princess launched alongside the Wii with virtually no install base initially. Skyward Sword launched on Wii toward the end of its life cycle. No previous Zelda game had access to an audience this massive from day one. This install base advantage is worth billions. Every marketing dollar reaches more potential customers. Every positive review influences more purchase decisions. The ratio of people who might buy TOTK to people who can buy TOTK is nearly 1-to-1. That's unprecedented reach for a major console exclusive. Nintendo also benefits from Switch's portability. TOTK isn't just a home console game, it's a portable game. You can play it anywhere, making it more valuable than home-only alternatives. This flexibility adds perceived value, justifying premium pricing and encouraging purchases from people who might skip home console releases, but love portable gaming. The Switch's demographics also align perfectly with Zelda's audience. Switch ownership skews toward adults with disposable income who grew up with Nintendo franchises.
These are people who can afford $70 games and are nostalgic for Zelda. The audience's platform is basically pre-selected for Zelda purchases. The complete package philosophy. In an industry increasingly dominated by incomplete launches, day one patches, and content sold piecemeal through DLC, TOTK launched as a complete, polished product. No microtransactions, no season pass, no roadmap of future content. Just a finished game that works perfectly at launch. This complete package approach is rare enough that it became a selling point. Customers trusted that buying TOTK meant getting everything, no hidden costs or future purchases required. In an era of nickel and diming, offering a complete experience for one price feels premium and consumer-friendly. The business logic is counterintuitive but sound. Charging $70 upfront for everything generates more goodwill and positive press than charging $60 plus $30 in DLC. The total revenue might be similar, but customer satisfaction is higher when they feel they received fair value for a single purchase. Happy customers recommend games to friends, creating organic marketing that drives additional sales. TOTK's completeness also meant no negative press about predatory monetization, broken launches, or cut content sold separately. Nintendo avoided every PR disaster that plagues other AAA releases. This clean reputation made customers comfortable recommending TOTK universally, even to non-gamers or casual players. The lack of ongoing monetization also means TOTK's revenue is concentrated at launch and in the months following. This creates intense sales spikes that generate media attention and cultural momentum. Live service games spread revenue over years, but rarely achieve the cultural dominance that massive launch sales create. Cultural phenomenon status. TOTK transcended gaming to become a genuine cultural phenomenon. Mainstream media covered its release, celebrities posted about playing it, and it dominated social media for weeks. This level of cultural penetration is rare and valuable, driving sales far beyond the core gaming audience. Why did TOTK achieve cultural phenomenon status? Several factors converged. First, Zelda is a 37-year-old franchise with multi-generational appeal. Parents who played Zelda as children bought TOTK to play with their kids. This familial connection made it a household event rather than just a game release. Second, the creative building mechanics generated shareable content. Players posted their elaborate machines on social media, creating viral moments that reached non-gamers. Look at this crazy thing someone built in Zelda. Posts exposed millions to the game who would never see traditional gaming marketing. Third, TOTK launched in a relatively quiet period with minimal competition. May 2023 had few major releases competing for attention and wallet share. TOTK dominated conversation because nothing else was generating comparable buzz. Fourth, the pandemic's legacy of increased gaming acceptance. COVID-19 normalized gaming as a mainstream hobby, expanding the audience for major releases. TOTK benefited from this expanded market where gaming is accepted as entertainment for all ages and demographics.
Cultural phenomenon status creates a snowball effect. Media coverage drives awareness, awareness drives social media discussion, social media drives more media coverage, and the cycle continues. TOTK became unavoidable in culture, making even non-gamers aware of it. This awareness converted some into customers, and guaranteed word of mouth reached maximum saturation. The perfect storm of timing. TOTK's commercial success wasn't just smart strategy, it was also fortunate timing. Multiple factors aligned perfectly. Switch was at peak install base with 125 million consoles sold, but before any successor announcement. Players weren't waiting for next gen, they were actively looking for games to play on their current hardware. The post-pandemic economic environment, while challenging for many, still saw significant entertainment spending. People who saved money during lockdowns had disposable income for premium entertainment purchases. Gaming industry trends toward live service and free-to-play created appetite for premium single-player experiences. Players exhausted by microtransactions and battle passes wanted a complete traditional game. TOTK filled that need perfectly. Competition was minimal. No major Sony or Microsoft exclusives launched nearby. No massive third-party releases competed for attention. TOTK had the spotlight entirely to itself. The 6-year gap since BOTW was perfect, long enough to build intense anticipation, but not so long that audiences moved on. Any shorter and it might have felt rushed. Any longer and interest might have waned. These timing factors weren't all controllable, but Nintendo maximized the controllable elements and benefited from favorable external circumstances. Success at this scale always requires some luck, but Nintendo positioned TOTK to capitalize on that luck when it arrived. The Longtail sales strategy. TOTK's initial sales were explosive, but Nintendo's long-term strategy ensures continued revenue for years. Nintendo's evergreen approach keeps first-party titles selling at full price for the console's entire lifecycle. TOTK will likely remain $70 for years, with minimal discounting outside of occasional sales. This strategy works because Zelda games have long shelf lives. People buy them years after launch because the quality reputation persists. A player buying their first Switch in 2025 will likely buy TOTK alongside the console because it's an essential Switch game. These ongoing sales add hundreds of millions in additional revenue over time. Nintendo's ecosystem also drives long-tail sales. People buy TOTK because friends recommend it, because they see it discussed online, or because they're exploring Switch's catalog after buying the console for other games. Each new Switch owner is a potential future TOTK customer. Holiday seasons provide recurring sales spikes as TOTK becomes a gift option for Switch owners. Parents buying games for their kids, friends buying for friends, people treating themselves. These purchases continue year-round but spike during holidays. Nintendo can rely on significant TOTK sales every December for years. The long-tail strategy means TOTK's $1.5 billion first-year revenue is just the beginning. The game will likely generate another $500 million plus over its remaining years as a Switch title, pushing lifetime revenue toward $2 billion. Few games achieve this kind of extended commercial viability. Lessons for the industry. TOTK's commercial success teaches valuable lessons that apply across the gaming industry. Premium pricing works for premium products. If customers perceive value, they'll pay more. Don't race to the bottom with pricing when quality justifies premium cost. Complete games still matter. Despite industry trends toward live service, there's massive demand for finished, polished products sold as complete packages. This approach can generate enormous revenue while building customer goodwill. Anticipation is valuable. The 6-year buildup created demand that guaranteed explosive launch sales. Strategic silence and controlled marketing built hype that paid off massively. Brand loyalty is worth billions. BOTW's success made TOTK's success nearly inevitable. Building franchises and maintaining quality across entries creates audiences that guarantee sales for future installments. Innovation narrative matters. Whether mechanics are truly revolutionary or not, successfully positioning them as innovative justifies pricing and generates excitement. Perception drives purchases. Platform install base is crucial. Launching to 125 million potential customers is infinitely more valuable than launching to 10 million. Platform success directly enables software success. The conclusion: perfect execution. Tears of the Kingdom made over $1.5 billion because Nintendo executed nearly perfectly across every aspect: pricing, marketing, timing, quality, and platform. They built on BOTW's success, created years of anticipation, launched a polished, complete game, marketed without spoiling, priced strategically, and benefited from favorable timing. This wasn't accidental. Every decision reinforced the overall strategy of positioning TOTK as an essential premium experience worth full price. Nintendo understood their audience, trusted their product, and had the courage to charge premium pricing in a market skeptical of $70 games. The result? One of gaming's most successful launches ever, proving that single-player, story-driven games without predatory monetization can still dominate commercially. In an industry obsessed with live service and microtransactions, TOTK's success is a reminder that quality, completeness, and respecting customers can be more profitable than exploiting them.
That's how Tears of the Kingdom made over $1.5 billion, through strategy, quality, timing, and perfect execution of a vision that honored what made Zelda special while delivering something new. It's a masterclass in game business strategy that will influence the industry for years to come.